Bertemu kembali dan menjelang pelancaran My Digital Blueprint untuk Malaysia Digital Economy pada hari esok. Satu majlis ekonomi digital dibentuk di bawah unit perancang ekonomi untuk menyelaras dasar berkaitan ekonomi digital yang membabitkan pelbagai kementerian dan juga agensi. Menurut Menteri di Jabatan Perdana Menteri Ekonomi, Datuk Seri Mustafa Mohamed, wajar bagi EPU sebagai agensi merancang pembangunan ekonomi Malaysia membuat serta membentangkan kajian mengenai ekonomi digital negara bagi memudahkan penyelarasan itu. Beliau membuat kenyataan berkenaan dalam bicara naratif TV1 yang bertajuk Digital Asas Ekonomi Masa Depan. Tambahnya, sebelum ini banyak jawatan kuasa telah dibentuk dan sekarang hanya ada satu majlis kerana pendigitalan merentasi banyak sektor dan bidang. Menurutnya lagi, majlis ini merangkumi 6 kluster seperti bakat digital, infrastruktur digital, teknologi baharu, ekonomi halal, komuniti dan juga kerajaan. Majlis Ekonomi Digital dipengerusikan Perdana Menteri Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin yang akan melancarkan My Digital Blueprint Digital Economy Malaysia pada Jumaat ini. Sementara itu, Mustafa berkata setiap kluster akan dipengerusikan menteri berkaitan dengan objektif memastikan kerajaan mencapai hasrat menyediakan infrastruktur serta akses internet kepada rakyat Malaysia. Antara sasaran yang ditetapkan dalam rangka tindakan itu adalah akses kepada pembelajaran dalam talian untuk setiap pelajar, meningkatkan celik digital rakyat termasuk penggunaan digital bagi perniagaan mikro, kecil dan sederhana. Tambahnya, inisiatif yang akan diperkenalkan itu didasarkan kepada asas sedia ada tetapi dengan penekanan baru. Dan kita ingin terus membincangkan berkenaan Majlis Ekonomi Digital ini dan hari ini dari segi ekosistem sedia ada dan apa yang boleh diberikan nilai tambah. Kita bersama dengan pengasas bersama Scale Up Malaysia, Aaron Sarma. Aaron, thank you for joining us. Aaron, the government has formed a Majlis Ekonomi Digital or the Digital Economy Council. Let's talk about the current ecosystem to support digital economy in Malaysia. What gaps do you want this council to address?
Hey, good morning, Rizal. Great to be with you today. I think this is a really interesting development. A couple of weeks ago, we had a call and we were speaking about how there's a need to kind of streamline a lot of activities within the government in terms of the digital roadmap that we have. I think this is a step in the right direction. Ultimately, in the context of the overall roadmap of the economy and the recovery, digital is destiny for us, and the way we plan this forward is really important. I'd like to see three things, right? Three main focus points. Firstly, I'd like to see some implementation on the government level, right? Working to facilitate more collaboration between the private sector and the public sector, more transparency and accountability, investments in technologies that may not be commercially viable for the private sector, like 4IR technologies. I would like to see some of that, as well as streamlining existing policies. In terms of, that's in terms of government. It's also in terms of people. I think this is a really, really important component because ultimately all these digital transformations that we're trying to do or these new initiatives we're trying to implement are for the people, and the people need to benefit from this. Number one on the list is infrastructure. I think it was mentioned just now in the opening remarks that you played just now. We need greater accessibility, especially in the non-city states in Malaysia. That's really important for us, as well as helping people get more online, helping the talent and the people understand how to use these technologies. I see three main key areas for people development. Firstly, in terms of financial inclusion, people need to be able to get on e-wallets and learn how to use financial products, as well as other talent development. Also, just one more thing, just before I end, I also see that we need to work on business developing the business industry in terms of digital transformation in the private sector, especially for SMEs and small business.
And Tok Pan stated earlier that prior to this, many committees have been formed or had been formed. So now there is only one council because digital crosses many sectors and fields. Could this be the be-all and end-all solution to the current state of things, especially regarding what the rakyat is facing right now when it comes to digital connection, digital access, and the inequality for the digital access, especially in some parts of Malaysia?
I think having one committee to govern everything is a great thing. I think we've spoken about this before as well, right? We joked actually about maybe there needs to be a Ministry of Digital Development or something like this. But I think this is really positive. Singapore, for example, did this in 2018 when they started Enterprise Singapore, they consolidated a whole bunch of ministries into one agency that focused on this. And so I see what we're doing now with this council as a step in that direction, where there's kind of overall oversight from the highest level of government, being the Prime Minister's office, right down into all the different agency implementations. So in theory, this will actually be better for us. And I think the challenge we've always had is that there are so many different programs, but none really pack a punch because it's not focused from the highest level of government.
Let's talk about the 6 focus areas, Aaron: digital talent, digital infrastructure, new technologies, halal economy, society, and government. Are you happy with these 6 focus areas or clusters? What do you think should be the 3 or the top priorities when it comes to these 6 clusters?
So I think it's really interesting the way they kind of laid out the 6 clusters. I think, generally speaking, this covers most of the important elements. With the sole exception is that they don't really mention business or small business or corporate Malaysia in any of these clusters, but it's possible that it's kind of folded into one of the other cluster heads or divisions, right? To me, the most important thing of the list is talent development. We need to kind of both train our Malaysians to be digitally savvy, to be able to do business and to have skills in specific areas within the digital economy. We also need to work on infrastructure, which is really, really important. I mentioned this just now as well. I do think some of these things are opportunistic. For example, halal economy, I think, is interesting. And I think that's something that, as Malaysia being a Muslim-majority country, we should take on, because we have a chance at being a world leader in this space if we do this right.
And Aaron, we also interviewed one technopreneur yesterday. He mentioned that the existing policies when it comes to digital economy are sound. The implementation is, however, a bit lacking. Do you agree? And tell us more about the experience that tech entrepreneurs and people in scale-up face or go through related to these policies.
So I'm going to have to agree with your guest from yesterday. Generally speaking, there's been a lot of challenges in implementation. But that said, I think we have to say that one thing about our government, regardless of administration, we cannot fault them for lack of trying. There's been lots of initiatives in the digital space over the years, and they've tried different things. I think where we have shortfalls is in things like messaging. People don't understand how to get those benefits, how to receive those grants, so that our companies sometimes come to us and ask us, hey, they announced this grant, where do we go? Or who do we ask? Or we send an email in and we got no response. So I think communication is really important. The other thing is there tends to be a lot of red tape, and I find that some of this red tape maybe is not necessary for startups or even for SMEs, because it's just way too much work for them to get like a 50,000 ringgit grant or something. And this comes from maybe people who maybe don't understand the industry and could help there. And the other thing I think is just the issue of focus. There's just way too many grants out there, too many benefits out there, and there's a lack of focus. And I think when we are spread out like this, we tend to not have the effectiveness that we really want, because we're doing way too many things and not being really good at anything.
And Aaron, do you wish to see more domestic digital products and services in the government procurement?
Absolutely, actually. I think, and of course, given the fact that we're part of Scale Up Malaysia and we help Malaysian startups, obviously we would love to see local Malaysian startups and Malaysian companies be more involved in the procurement process, giving services when necessary to help the country. Obviously, there are international players who do a really good job, but I think our local companies are competitive, both in terms of price and in terms of capabilities, and we should give them a chance to show what they have and compete for all these national initiatives.
And the MyDigital, the Malaysian Digital Economy Blueprint to be launched tomorrow is designed to become the foundation for the country's transformation into a regional digital pass by 2030. That was said by Topar as well. What advantages does Malaysia have to achieve this? What about other countries in the region, say Indonesia with this huge market, and Singapore with many incentives to attract bigger companies? How can we compete, or what can we do to compete with them?
I think before I speak about Indonesia and Singapore, I do have a slight challenge with the framing of this policy, right? I understand the blueprint is a 10-year blueprint for 2030, but, 10 years is a long time. You and I may not be able to have an interview in 10 years to have this conversation, right? Because the market moves so fast these days. And even most corporate boardrooms nowadays don't have even a 5-year plan because technology is changing at such a rapid pace that we're going to have to make changes to the plan in a matter of months. What I'd like to see tomorrow actually is an announcement that, okay, yes, we've got a 10-year plan, but this is the 18-month roadmap. This is what's going to happen in 18 months. It's going to make a real change to the people in the way the government operates as well as the businesses. That's what I kind of look at. Malaysia, actually, for a long time, we always used to say, we have more population than Singapore, therefore we're better for consumer businesses. But then again, we're not as big as Indonesia. We've got mature financial markets here, but they're not as maybe mature as Singapore. So, it's like a reverse Goldilocks zone in a way. We're kind of not the best at everything. But we do have a great opportunity here, I think, in terms of our entrepreneurs are very savvy. They're able to kind of build great businesses, and we need to really encourage them to grow. Just as a last anecdote before I end, right? I was on a call yesterday on Clubhouse with some entrepreneurs and venture capitalists from Singapore, and one of the guys made a comment that from 2013 to 2020, Malaysia, from the venture capital standpoint and technology investments, Malaysia is the only country in South Asia where the exit proceeds exceeded the total capital investment. We are the most capital efficient country to invest in for digital innovation. So I think as a government we should recognize this, and we should really back our entrepreneurs and our businesses to this effect.
On that note, thank you very much, Aaron Sama, pengasas bersama sekalian Malaysia, membincangkan berkenaan dengan Majlis Ekonomi Digital dan juga inisiatif My Digital Blueprint untuk ekonomi digital Malaysia. Kita akan berhenti di sini. Saya Rizal Zulkafli. Teruskan bersama kami di Astro Awani ketika kami bawakan perkembangan terkini berkenaan dengan vaksin dan juga pelbagai lagi perkembangan terkini dalam dan juga luar negara. Dan ikuti info berhubung vaksin COVID-19 di halaman Micro Interaktif di astroawani.com dan segala maklumat ini dan juga maklumat lain dalam astroawani.com dan juga aplikasi Astro Awani. Terima kasih kerana menonton kami. Astro Awani, saluran berita paling dipercayai di Malaysia. Saya Rizal Zulkafli. Salam hormat.